Hello everyone, my name is Adam Quaddy. I'll be the incoming anatomy TA once our beloved Gina finishes up here and her time at UNO. So she's asked me to review the muscles of the eye, as well as where they originate and insert, what directions these muscles will move the eye, in addition to what nerve activates these muscles. So there are 6 strap-like extrinsic muscles that control the movement of each eye. Now, all of these muscles originate from the walls of the orbit and insert into the outer surface of the eyeball. They all allow the eyes to follow a moving object, but they also help to maintain the shape of the eyeball and hold it in the orbit. So you have 4 rectus muscles and 2 oblique muscles. Now, fortunately, the rectus muscles, their names give away what they do. Now, the important thing to know is that they all originate back here at a common tendinous ring, and from that common tendinous ring, insert somewhere on the eyeball. So the superior rectus muscle inserts superiorly. It elevates the eye and turns it somewhat medially, and it is controlled by cranial nerve 3, the oculomotor nerve. Your inferior rectus muscle, if we turn the model over, inserts inferiorly. It depresses the eyeball and turns it somewhat medially as well. It is also controlled by cranial nerve 3. The medial rectus muscle, shown here, moves the eye medially and is also controlled by cranial nerve number 3. Now, the only rectus muscle to not be controlled by cranial nerve 3 is the lateral muscle, shown here. This will move the eye laterally, and as I said, not controlled by number 3, it's controlled by cranial nerve 6, the abducens. So, out of your 4 rectus muscles, 3 are controlled by cranial nerve 3, superior, inferior, and medial. Only the lateral rectus is controlled by cranial nerve 6. Now, the actions of the 2 oblique muscles are somewhat less intuitive, mainly because they do not take a direct path to their insertion points on the eye. So the superior oblique muscle originates in common with all the rectus muscles. So again, back at that common tendinous ring. This muscle will then run along the medial wall of the orbit, where it'll go through a fibrocartilaginous loop and make an immediate right turn in order to insert superior-laterally on the eyeball. So if we look right here, that is your superior oblique muscle right next to the superior rectus muscle. The superior oblique muscle will move the eye somewhat downward and somewhat laterally, and it is controlled by cranial nerve number 4, your trochlear nerve. The inferior oblique muscle originates near the lateral rectus. We turn it over, we see it right here. This runs medially and obliquely and inserts on the inferior lateral eye surface. Now, what it'll do is orate the eye up and laterally. This is also somewhat conveniently controlled by cranial nerve 3. So out of your 6 orbit muscles, 4 are controlled by cranial nerve 3. Now, what's somewhat interesting, a little teaser of information, your 4 rectus muscles would seemingly provide all the eye movement that we require. Now, the reasoning to have the oblique muscles is to counteract the movement that your superior rectus and your inferior rectus cause, which is turning the eye somewhat medially. We have these oblique muscles in order to counteract it because they somewhat turn the eye laterally. So it's a little bit of a zero-sum game.